Shalom Aleichem, dear Chevra. It's almost Hanukkah. And that gift that we're going to be receiving, that we want to make sure that we open up the box and appreciate the gift. That the box doesn't just sit there unopened. So B'ezrat Hashem, part of all of this preparation is getting ready to open up that box, open up that gift. And it says that Hanukkah is Ner Ish U'Beisai. The mitzvah of Hanukkah is Ner Ish U'Beisai, a candle for a man in his home. Everything about Hanukkah is about the home. It's about bringing light to the home. You know, it says that you should light your Hanukkah candles in the Pesach, the Rishus HaRabim, right on the opening to the house, going outside. But you know, the Hasidim have a custom that we light it inside the house. We light inside the house. So it says there, you can light in the chaloin, light in the window. If you don't have a window facing, you can light it on your table. If it's a time of danger, Vidaya, and it's good. It's enough. So the Tolner Rebbe famously said, you know, really the mitzvah is you should light it in Rishus HaRabim. You should light it for Pirsumei Nisa, to publicize the miracle, that you want the whole world to know about the miracle. And that's why, by the way, if you see someone's candle and you have not yet made the mitzvah, said the bracha, you can make a bracha on somebody else's candle. You never find such a thing. Because he's doing the mitzvah Pirsumei Nisa, so you could be part of that. He could publicize the miracle, and you're experiencing it. That's why the better the public publicizing the miracle, the better. When I used to live in the old city, I think I had the best location to publicize the miracle because it was on a street that everybody came. All of the Israelis, all the tourists came, and everybody came to just see the candles of the old city because they're so beautiful here in the old city of Jerusalem. So there was hundreds of thousands of people looking at my candles. It's a great Pirsumei Nisa. So the Tolner Rebbe said, so why do we light inside? I thought you have to light for the Rishus HaRabim. You have to light for the outside. The outside always means Chitzonius. The outside always means the streets. You know, the streets. Where it's not always as refined out there. You know, the back alleys of the world. Usually when you go to a back alley somewhere, in some real rough place, they're not having like very nice tea parties with bone china and chamomile tea. It's usually coarse and rough. So you have to light candles that all that roughness, that coarseness of the world can come back to something very refined and beautiful. So then why by us, why do the Chassidim, why do we light inside the house? Said the Rebbe, because nowadays the Rishus HaRabim is inside the house also. Nowadays the streets, yeah, that's deep, right? I know, yeah. Nowadays the streets came inside. I think they creep under the cracks in the bottom of your door. That's why you have to seal it at the bottom there, so that no draft comes in. They creep in through the Getchkelas. They creep in through our philosophies. They crept in, so I might be inside, but I'm still outside. And Rav Scheinberger, Shlita, the great tzaddik, Mekubal here from the old city, told me that the Iker Pirsum HaNes in our day is for the family. Ner Ishu Beisai. To light for your family. We need so much to just light our families up first. Before we light up all the whole world, light your family up. Give to your family. Spend a lot of time with your family on Hanukkah. Very important. Call your parents, call your grandparents, call loved ones, tell them how much you love them. It's always an important message. You know, write that one down.
Do special on Hanukkah?
Special on Hanukkah. Hanukkah is about halava hoidoya, to say thanks. If there's any time to give thanks, it's Hanukkah. To mamish say thank you. Say, you know, Mom, Dad, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I owe you everything. And even though many of us had, bumpy roads. But there's always an underlying thanks. There's always an underlying appreciation of, I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful. And when you become a parent yourselves, and for those around the world that are, when you start changing those diapers, you start waking up in the middle of the night, and then it starts to hit you that that's what my parents did for me. There's a feeling of, wow, I couldn't have appreciated this until I now came into those shoes. When I had my first child, and you realize, it's just, they're not like loners. I'll take them for, a day or two, and then I'll just, we'll ship them off for a little bit. But they're just there. And the diapers don't stop. And the middle of the night crying doesn't stop because they're babies. And you realize this is 24/7 now. And then you're like, oh. Like the light goes off. I better call my mom and say a big thank you. And you're like, she's like, yeah, you were a handful. And you just say, I'm starting to get that. Thank you so much. Ner Ishu Beisai, Hanukkah is about bringing that light of appreciation into the bayis. And our homes need it so much. There's so many broken homes around the world. The light of Hanukkah could fix all of that. Lahadlik Ner Hanukkah. Lahadlik Ner Hanukkah. We said yesterday, lahadlik means to light up. I want this relationship. I want it. Lahadlik. I go from being a car that's turned off to I want to turn it on. I'm now on fire. But what am I on fire for? So there we get to Ner. Okay? Ner means a lot of things. It means a candle. It means a flame also, it could be. But I want to tell you something that Ner means. Ner means that I take my thoughts, I take my emotions, and I take my actions, and I bond every single part of that to the master of the world. Bless you. The word Ner is total encompassing of every single facet of me. My thoughts to you, God. That I want my thoughts to be holy. I want my thoughts, my desires, and the things that I yearn for in this world to be holy. I want to yearn and seek out healthy pursuits, healthy endeavors. I want to have healthy inner self-image. I want to have a healthy self-talk. I want my psychology to be in a healthy place. The way that I think about myself, my self-image for many. I want that to be dedicated to you, God. And my feelings. My feelings, I don't want my feelings to just run away and make me do all sorts of things that I don't otherwise want to do, and have all sorts of fears that are not healthy fears. I want to just have an awe and a fear for you, Hashem. An awe of, Hashem, you're the real decision maker, and if I listen to you, then everything's going to be good. And I don't want to be afraid, when we're little, we're afraid of the boogeyman. And then there's other boogeymen, like a person's boss, like other things that a person might be afraid of. I want to have healthy emotions. I want to have the emotions of love, that I love things of beauty and things of truth and meaning. And I feel attached to real relationships that are meaningful, that are lasting, as opposed to relationships that are just fleeting and quick fixes and band-aid relationships. And my actions, I want my actions to be totally dialed in for you, Hashem. That I use my hands and I use my legs to go towards holy things. I'm going to give you a number of names of God right now. Your thoughts correspond to the name of God called Aleph, Hey, Na, Yud, Na, Hey. Ekya. Ekya means I want something. I will be. I am thinking about and aspiring for good things, for holy things. People ask me a lot about what should I do for a living? What should I do? So nowadays, you could do so much, by the way. You don't have to just work for the man. Be creative. The first step I tell people, it might not happen, but what do you want to do? What do you want to do? Who are people in the world that are doing things that you believe in? And that are making money doing it? Think about it. You don't just have to go and work for somebody that's just, I don't believe in that. Think about it. What do I want? You can do things that actually align with your destiny. It's good, right? You can do things that align with your destiny. And by the way, you'll be a much more productive worker when your work and your passion are all the same thing. And you become wealthy on the very things that you're passionate about. It does not always happen. But nowadays you can be so creative. There's so many opportunities that I want you to think, like, what can I do? How can I be a difference maker? And start with people that you look up to that are difference makers and are making a living doing that. Use your brain for those things. As to maybe the old program, which is, gotta just get a job, get hopefully some benefits and a good pension. And it's gonna be, long, hard, but put in my time for the boss. Why do you have to do that? I'm gonna wake up like one of those guys, like, how you doing today? I'm surviving. Getting by. You okay, buddy? Could be better. How about that weather? Nah, not doing it for me today. And the guy goes around is like a little bit just like on edge about life until his next favorite episode of some, horrible Netflix series comes on, and it gives him a quick okay, and then it ends. He's like, oh, better put on another one until work starts again. Then put in my hours, then clock in, put in the finger. Yeah, I know. Sorry, I'm depressing you guys.
That's so real.
I know, it's too real. You're saying the truth, Rabbi. It's too real. So break out of the system. Use your brain to think. I will be something. Don't work for the man. You don't have to just give yourself up for that. Think. Be creative. What does God want me to do? It could be it means to work in some multi-bazillion-dollar company as a cog in the system and bring God in that place. But it doesn't have to be. It could be you're supposed to be the head of that company. Think big. Think big. There's a very good book. I really suggest it to everybody. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's a classic. You have to read it because it flips your whole way of seeing things. There's a lot of truth in it. There's a lot of truth in it. About seeing, if you fix the finances, in so many ways you can fix so much of what's going on in the world. It fixes your way of looking at things. Of looking at things in a different way. It fixes kind of victim mentality. And it puts you into sort of executive thinking. Of using your mind is very powerful. So now add God. And think, what does God want me to do? Think. So what are you doing? You're taking the name Ekya, Aleph and a Hey, and a Yud and a Hey. I will be. And I'm thinking about what I'll be. And you add it to Yud Kei Vav Kei. Okay? That is always the name. Yud Kei Vav Kei means existence. That I infuse my yearning, my thoughts with existence. Yud Kei Vav Kei. You got it? Ekya and Yud Kei Vav Kei. Then I come to my emotions. I want my emotions to be dedicated to you. The emotions are wild. I want my emotions to be totally emblazed and impassioned with you, Hashem. So what do? I say, Hashem, let me feel for you. Let me feel deep relationships. Let me be connected to you. And I add the Shem Elokim. I add the Shem Elokim to Yud Kei Vav Kei. Elokim is very deeply connected to emotions.
When you say add them, what are you mentally like?
I see them together, woven together. I see literally the names are woven together. Like for example, Yud Kei Vav Kei, an Aleph and a Hey and a Yud and a Hey. I would see a Yud and an Aleph and a Hey and a Hey and a Vav and a Yud and a Hey and a Hey. I would see them woven together. Okay? Do the same thing with Yud Kei Vav Kei and Elokim. And then it comes into my actions. My actions is the part of me that says, Hashem, I want to give myself to you. Your actions is a lot of like Mesiras Nefesh. It's when your blood courses and you're pumped up for something. Like when a guy's like pumped, so what does he get pumped for? Does he get pumped that I'm going to rave tonight like nobody ever raved? It's going to be nuts. It's going to be crazy. He's moiser nefesh to like, and he's like, whoa, look at that guy. He hasn't stopped in 49 hours. Whoa, yeah, man. This camelback on, like, it's like, he's solid. That's some Mesiras Nefesh for the rave. So is that where my body is giving itself to? Or whatever, fill in the blank. I just get a little bit, dramatic. But I try to say it like it is, where a lot of people are holding. So is that where it's going to? Or am I going to be Moiser Nefesh? I want to get up for Shachris. Everything is saying, he's like, oh, not again. I want to get up. There's a part of me that's saying, just chill, sleep. I'm Moiser Nefesh. Somebody needs something. I'm going to run to them. I'm going to run to them. I'm going to get my body like moving. I'm going to move my body in a very powerful way. For you, Hashem. I'm going to run to you, Hashem. I'm going to run to mitzvahs. Someone needs something, I'm going to go. I'm going to call. I'm going to do things. I'm going to make moves. I'm going to give tzedakah. And take the money out of my pocket. I'm going to give it. It's moiser nefesh. For you, Hashem. And I moiser nefesh for you, Hashem, so much that I feel that, again, Yud Kei Vav Kei is coming into me. Into my nefesh, into my lower body. So I take the name Yud Kei Vav Kei and I put it into the name Aleph and a Dalet and a Nun and a Yud, Adnas. Because that's like Adon is all the way down here. In this world, my body. And I put those names together. So I take the name of my thoughts, that I start feeling that God, you're guiding my thoughts. I want my thoughts to be for you. An intelligent, holy direction. And then I bring it into my emotions. And then I bring it into my body. And I take those names. I take the Yud Kei Vav Kei coming into Ekya, Aleph and a Hey and a Yud and a Hey. And then I take Yud Kei Vav Kei and I bring it into Elokim. And my emotions are revved up for you. And then I take Yud Kei Vav Kei and I bring it into Aleph, Dal, and Yud, into right down here. And if I add all of that up, it's the Gematria Ner. That's the Ner. That's what you think about when you say Ner. Lahadlik Ner. I don't mean you have to take like 35 minutes and go into, a niggin when you say the word Ner. I don't not mean that, but everyone has to go according to their level. At least think about this for a few minutes before you light, and even when you say the word Ner, to try to think about what we just said for the last 10 minutes. And as you're sitting by the candles, you can also think about all of that, and that's what Ner means. And then you come to Hanukkah, and you take all of what you just put into Ner, all of that you just lit up in Ner, that every facet of me is infused with your light, and Hanukkah, I bring it all the way down. I bring it all the way down. Chanu. Chanu means it's down here. Chanu b'kaf hey. It's resting, it's down here. And there's chayin, there's beauty. There's a beauty that starts illuminating, that starts sparkling. And lahadlik ner Hanukkah is the Rosh Hashanah. Nachal. There's a river. It's a river coming down from heaven. It's giving a tremendous light inside of me. And I start becoming totally empowered with that light. Like we mentioned that Hanukkah is about Hod. Hod means to acknowledge. I acknowledge the truth of everything that we just said. That that's the real truth of existence, is that my mind is totally for you, Hashem. My emotions are totally for you, Hashem. My actions and the Mesiras Nefesh is only for you, Hashem. And I acknowledge that truth, that emes. I acknowledge that truth, Hashem. And I'm madlik again. And then I light myself up again, deeper. And every single day we're doing this. Lahadlik ner Hanukkah. Every day, day after day. Lahadlik ner Hanukkah. Until we do it for 8 days. And 8 days means above this world. 8 days means I'm doing this so deep that I'm doing it into infinity. It's never going to end. There's no Havdalah on Hanukkah, which means the light never stops. It never stops. It's Moisef V'Hoilech. Just keeps going more and more and more. More and more light and more light. Every single year, year after year, there's Tosefes Or, the Yeser Seis, the Yeser Ois, more and more light pouring into the world, pouring into me. I'm just making myself the Kli. I'm making myself able to receive that Nachal, that river that's gushing down, that river of blessing. Because on Hanukkah you could pray for miracles. You can pray for miracles on Hanukkah. The rest of the year we can't. But on Hanukkah, that same light comes down. And every year stronger and stronger. That light's going to come down. And pray for everybody you know. That their minds, their hearts, and their actions should be filled with that godly consciousness. And when you light that candle, spend time looking at the candles. The candles will talk to you. I don't mean actually, because then you have to see me privately. I mean you'll start feeling and hearing that something is talking to me. That I'm seeing into a deeper and deeper truth. Looking into the candles is the truest thing in the whole world. It's the greatest truth there is. It's where you see. The big tzaddikim will look in their candles, the Kedushas Levi Yitzchak ben Sarasash, for 8-9 hours they would look into the candles, mamish, glued. You know who else is glued to the candles? Children. Because children know the secrets of Hanukkah. Ner Ishu Beisai. Hanukkah is about the home, about the family. This is what we want to give to our families. And Mitzvah Shem, if we could do this in our families will be filled with that light. And then we'll go out and tell the whole Rishus HaRabim. We'll spread that light into all the alleyways and all the dark places of the world. And the revelation of that light will be so great. Because when the light goes into the dark places, the light's even greater. And with that, we'll see the light in the Shid Tzidkeinu. And the light, the Eirish Shel Olam, the Beis HaMikdash, and we'll once again relight the menorah, the candelabra in the Beis HaMikdash that will give light to the entire world. And Hashem, B'yoyim hahu yeh Hashem echad u'shmo echad, Amen. Amen. Kol Tuv.